All right, guys, let's take a look at the top 25 selling vintage baseball cards on eBay. What I consider vintage 1980 or earlier, no duplicate cards, graded in raw or fine, and let's jump into the video. So we're going to start off with a T206 cap roll of Ty Cobb Red. This one sold slightly under $10,000, one of his 4 portrait cards. 1933 Mel Ott, one of his 2 Gaudy cards from that year. This copy sold for $10,000 in an 8. And it seems like more people are finding out about Mel Ott. Really great hitter. Unfortunately, had a kind of negative second half of his career, but was one of the all-time great home run hitters at the time in the 1930s. We have a 1958 Topps Mickey Mantle, also in a grade 8. This sold for $10,699. Personally, give me the Ott over the Mantle, but I know a lot of people like Mickey Mantle. 1955 Roberto Clemente rookie card. This one was an 8 OC. It looks like it has pretty sharp corners, but obviously it is way OC to the bottom left. This copy over here sold for $11,000. A 1968 Bob Gibson card number 100. This achieved the PSA 10 grade. What makes the 68 kind of special for Gibson is that was the year he had a 1.12 ERA, leading to changes with the pitching mound. Number 20, we have a iconic T206 card, one of the big 4 to chase after in the set. And this is the Sherry Maggie Air, and you can see the misspelling down below in the name. Now this was graded a 2, but as we all know, old grades aren't consistent, and this one would not get a 2 today. This is an easy 1 with the crease going across the face, the bad corners, but still it's a super great card of early T206 era. We have a Jim Baxes, which I'm not familiar with this player. Looks like he played in 1959 and hit 17 home runs. Color on this card looks really nice, and it's a 9, so it goes into someone's set registry. $12,165. We have a 1947 Yogi Berra in a 7. This tip-top bread sold for $12,950. Personally, this is a card that I want to have in my collection one day. I think this is a pretty good price for a 7 because low grades of this card are expensive. They're like $2,000-$3,000 for like a 1 or a 2. So to get this in a 7 for that price, I think is a really great buy. All right, we have a 1937 O-Pee-Chee Joe DiMaggio, 1 year earlier than his Gaudy Heads Up, which people flock over. Personally, give me this O-Pee-Chee because I like this better. But this card over here in a 3 sold for $13,100. This also, obviously being the O-Pee-Chee brand, was released in Canada versus the United States. But DiMaggio has a few cards that were printed in Canada. You can see also the Worldwide Gum, which was a year earlier, and it's way more expensive. Number 16, we have a 1933 Gaudy of Lou Gehrig in an SGC 5, $13,500 on this copy. Number 14, we have a 1962 Topps Mickey Mantle All-Star, graded a 9. Now, it looks like a new label, but this was graded way in the past because the cert starts with a 0. $13,859. Number 14, we have a 1963. Number 14, we have a 1963 with Pete Rose in a PSA 8. Again, another old label, $14,425. Number 13, we have a Satchel Paige Authentic Altered. This card looks pretty nice. Now, I want to say a lot of ones now on this card are like $20,000 to $30,000. I could be a little bit off on it, but $21,000 was the final price. And visually it looks kind of like a 3, possibly 2 to a 3. It just depends on the grader that day. Mickey Mantle rookie card 1951 Bowman in a 5, $21,500. This doesn't look too bad. Again, it is a super old start and a pretty terrible photo for a $20,000 card. Number 11, we have a 1912 Miners Extra T227 of Ty Cobb at $23,000 on this copy. Let's jump into some honorable mentions. Before that, though, this video is sponsored by Check Out My Cards. Now, I do a lot of videos of COMC here on the channel. They're doing a free graded card submission promo right now. So if you are on the fence of joining COMC, highly suggest that you take advantage of this right now because it's free submissions, right? And graded cards do cost more than raw cards. And graded cards sell a lot on the platform. In fact, I usually get a little bit more than the market rate on selling my graded cards on the platform. So if you want to jump into COMC, I have the link down below for the website. Click through that because it does help the YouTube channel. And thank you again, CompC, for sponsoring this video. And if you guys have any CompC questions, people have hit me up on Instagram or email, and I do answer those as well. And we'll be doing that also through a Q&A video. Anyways, let's jump into our next sale, which is going to be this Hank Aaron autograph on here, 1/5 with an auto being a 10, $2,600. 1963 Stargell on-card autograph, $5,400. I assume there's not a lot of 63 Stargell autographs out there because this clearly outsells what the Pete Rose would do. And obviously Rose signed everything. Stargell did not. A 1949 Leaf of Warren Spahn and an 8. This sold for $7,500. Really, really great picture if you're not too familiar with Warren Spahn. 1927 E210 New York Caramel of Babe Ruth. Looks nice for one, but there's tons of creases on the card. $8,750. Up next, we have a 1965 Topps of Sandy Koufax in a 9 grade. This sold slightly under $9,000. 1968 Nolan Ryan rookie card in a PSA 8 grade. This sold for $9,000. 1954 Topps Jackie Robinson in a PSA 8. This sold for $9,500. 1954 Topps Willie Mays, also in an 8, $9,600. Another 1954 Hank Aaron in a PSA 6, $9,750. Out of three, which one would you rather have? They're all about the same price. This Mays looks really, really nice in my own personal opinion. The 54 Aaron also doesn't look too bad, and it's a classic card. Let's jump into our top 10, which much of you guys care about. I'm going to start off with a Willie Mays graded A65. This looks like a super, super clean copy. $23,625. Up next, we have a Honus Wagner card from the E92 American Caramel. This is one of the most popular Honus Wagner cards out there. A ton of people want to grab this card because it is a portrait of him. And this is the bargain copy in comparison to the T206, $27,300. And by the way, this is a super scarce card. We have a Sanella Ruth. And why this card's interesting is I've never seen a Sanella Ruth in a 9. Personally, I owned a 1 at a certain point, or as a 2. These cards are paper thin, and most of them are going to be pasted into albums out of Germany. These cards used to not be popular, but over the years, they've gained a ton of popularity just because it's kind of a cheaper Ruth card. And the image is awesome. It is oversized, but I love the imagery on it. $27,500. I don't assume there's a lot of 9s out there just because I've seen most of them. They have glue stains, they have paper loss, and even low grade now, these are like $400 or $500. Number 7, we have a 1973 Rod Carew in a 10 grade. This sold for $28,100. Number 6, a 1952 Topps Jackie Robinson in a 6th grade, $30,169. Number 5, we have 1955 Koufax in a PSA 8 grade, $34,900. Would you risk this to get it signed? He's still doing private signings, but an autograph's expensive. Number 4, we have a 1949 Leaf Jackie Robinson in a 6.5, $36,250. And number 3, an amazing Honus Wagner in a PSA 9 grade from 1910, $37,500. Number 2, 1949 Bowman Jackie Robinson in an 8, $47,500. And lastly, the most expensive card sold on Check Out My Cards, 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle in a 1/5. Amazing looking 1/5. I assume there has to be some back issues because the eye appeal on this one is out of this world. $50,250. Thank you guys for checking out this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe to the channel. A lot of effort are made into these videos. I don't think you guys know how much is put into these, but regardless, I do want to improve these over time. Thanks guys, and I will catch you in another video.